No one likes to feel powerless, but when you've tried your best, when you've truly tried your best, and a situation still isn't budging, what can you do? Is the best thing to do to become more assertive in your action? Take firmer action, perhaps? Well, maybe if the right action has that force or that strength behind it that you're looking to be more assertive with, right? But if you're being assertive just for the sake of being assertive, or if you're being assertive because you feel that you've got a point that you have to prove, whether it be to the cosmos that somehow you can conquer this situation, or whether it be to someone that you care about to show them that you care about them, or whether it be just to prove it to yourself that you can handle something. Being more assertive can sometimes cause more harm to the situation than it does help. But equally, not doing anything makes the pressure build up inside of you. And that pressure building up inside of you eventually reaches a crescendo. When it reaches a crescendo, it yearns for that release. And if you're not careful at those particular times, right, that normally assertive action that you would have considered doing all of a sudden becomes this mega force of a dam bursting and right? And then it does even more harm. So you've got to be active, but how to be active? Perhaps restraint is good at the moment, but perhaps using that restraint and not sitting idly by, not just being lazy, because if you're going to be lazy with the situation and not do anything, that's how you're going to find that pressure building up. But if instead you use that energy that wants to take action, instead to go, nope, I'm just going to hold back. I'm going to hold back, even if that pressure begins to build, if it feels like that dam is going to burst, even if you just go, nope, I'm going to restrain myself, that's a good thing too. But what do you do with all that built up, pent up energy, right? You use it for self-exploration. There's something at the moment that you're wanting to support, or someone that you're wanting to support, or a situation that you're wanting to offer some support to, but you're feeling kind of powerless with this. And you're not really sure what steps you should take. And it's been going that way for a while. You're trying, you're looking to find the best way that you can do this, and you feel like, action is imminent, and if you don't take that action soon, then there might be greater implications. But you need to do a little more exploration on this journey. Mars is currently retrograde, and with this particular partial solar eclipse that takes place in Magha Nakshatra on the 11th of August, 2018, there is a need to take that active Mars energy and send it on a journey of self-exploration. When a planet is retrograde, we tend to internalize more of its processes rather than making those processes external. Mars, however, is a guy that likes to, take action. And when he's not taking action, because he's also what's called a Kshatriya planet, which is a noble planet or a warrior planet, well, then he feels that his dignity is at stake and he needs something that he has to take care of. But to go just charging off into battle when you're not really prepared for battle, that's not really wise now, is it? And so sometimes a good warrior knows when to restrain himself, knows when to go, nope, I'm just going to hold back. Same with a good leader, and Mars is born to be a leader. But while that's happening, Mars, when it's retrograde, can be used most positively, much like a cosmic surgeon, right? Is go in within yourself and take a look at all those things in regards to this particular situation that you're dealing with. Take a look at all those things that have not been working. Perhaps reflect back on the past. Take a look at situations where things went wrong. Look at what you might have learned about how you took the wrong turn at a certain junction. Was it really a wrong turn? No, we don't make wrong turns in life. We make a turn, we go down that path, we make what we call a mistake, but very quickly those mistakes can be turned into learning experiences if you approach them correctly. And if you haven't approached them correctly, now might be a good time to do so, right? So explore, go within yourself, look a little more deeply at this particular situation rather than going, right, okay, I need to take this action and take this action now. Instead, go, right, I've tried taking that action, that didn't work. I tried taking this other action, that didn't work. Maybe I need to look at this situation a little more clearly. Maybe I need to allow it to evolve a little bit further. Maybe I need to look beneath the surface, which is where I've been looking with this particular situation, and instead allow myself to go deeper and see what the common problem is behind this entire situation. Sure, I might feel uneasy, I might feel unsteady, but this is something that's absolutely necessary. Now, this particular eclipse is, again, with K2 and Mars in close proximity to each other while we've got the new moon, which is when solar eclipses happen. And yes, we did have a solar eclipse last month, too. This is a second solar eclipse in a month. And so directly across from Mars, you've got a retrograde Mercury. On many levels, that may feel frustrating to you, especially because you want the idea. You want the idea that's going to solve the problem. But every idea that seems to come up for you, you just find yourself doubting whether that's the appropriate thing to do. Now, what's the positive side of that? Because Mercury's retrograde and Mars is retrograde as well, it can send you into a deeper process where you really very powerfully, very deeply reflect. And Mercury is in Ashadha Nakshatra, where it's in close proximity to Rahu. And because of this, sure, there's going to be doubts that come to the surface. But, doubts are good. It's good to question. It's good to question whether you're doing the right thing. It's good to question whether you have been doing the right thing. It's good to question whether you've been doing the wrong thing, right? Because it will make you seek. It will make you look. Eventually, you'll find it. You'll find the answer. So also directly across from Mars, you've got this new moon that we were talking about, which is what's creating the solar eclipse. So you've got the solar eclipse directly across from Mars, and the sun and moon are in Magha Nakshatra. Magha Nakshatra, one of the energies that's connected to it is the fact that in order to navigate this experience of life, to navigate this experience of consciousness, we need a strong sense of individuality. Because if we don't have that strong sense of individuality, if we doubt ourselves, if we lose our self-esteem, then, we quite often find ourselves in positions where we turn in on ourselves, which is not always helpful, right? And so we need a strong sense of individuality. We need at least the illusion of free will. We need at least the illusion that I made a choice and my choice impacted my actions. But if you make a choice to impact an action, you have to live with that action, right? And quite often when we can't live with that action, we turn in on ourselves even more. We blame ourselves. We see ourselves as, having done wrong. And when we take a particular action and it has a good outcome, we go, oh, what a good boy or what a good girl I am, right? Both of those are two different sides of the same coin, which is the ego. And so the ego likes to think that it's running the show, but the ego is never running the show, right? It's the cosmos, it's God, whatever it is you want to call it, that's what's running the show. And that particular energy tries to give us messages through our day-to-day life, right? But because we set ourselves off from that energy and we see ourselves as separate and we see ourselves as somehow having to be stronger, and perhaps, we're miffed at the fact that, we've been kind of tossed here on the planet and separated from that, or seemingly separated from that, in order to sort through all this rubbish that we got to sort through. We feel a little bit miffed about that. So we go, well, I know best, right? And we tend to act upon that. Then when we find that we don't know best, that's when we either go, gee, I didn't know best, and we walk away with our tail between our legs, or we become more assertive and go, I have to prove that point, back to that Mars energy at the beginning, right? I have to prove this point. But you don't have to prove a point. Your dignity will be less impacted if you accept that maybe it can be good to be powerless. Maybe to be powerless is to be powerful. Because maybe to be humble in that particular moment will help you to listen. Because with Magha Nakshatra, the answer is often there. Okay, the answer is often there. We're just missing it because we're so caught up in asserting our ego over the situation, trying to exercise a sense of control, trying to go, it's wisest to do this, and I know best about this, and I'm not going to listen to anything or anyone else. And then randomly, the universe sends someone our way with an answer, right? And we go, I'm not going to accept that answer because it's not something that I came up with, right? Or it can't be right, or, what does that person know, right? So seek the answers. Be willing to accept a little bit of help. Recognize that you're not in this alone. Even if there's not another person involved, you're not in it alone. You're only in it alone if you make yourself be in it alone. So the answer is there for you. Just because you find the answer, though, don't think that because you have the answer, you have an immediate solution. Because sometimes we come up with an answer. Sometimes we come up with the direction that we most need to take to overcome that feeling of powerlessness. And sometimes we begin to actualize that potential solution. And then it doesn't work out. And we think that, again, we've gone wrong. But sometimes it's a matter of timing. And there is a certain energy tone to this. Mars is going to be retrograde for a while. In past videos, I've spoken about the fact that probably by the time you get to October, you'll begin to see some progress on this situation. So in the meantime, you have to be a little bit patient. But what this solar eclipse is trying to teach you is to recognize that in feeling powerless, on a certain level, we have an opportunity. Because if we can't take action, we have to reflect. If you have to reflect, then your mind becomes open. It opens up to an answer. So I know a lot of people don't like retrograde planets, but they're actually very helpful. So Mars retrograde will make you consider not acting because it'll make you feel like you can't really do anything about that situation. Does that mean you're just going to sit on your backside all day long? No, probably not. But it does mean, less action and less feelings of you doing something that's sorting a situation. And with Mercury retrograde, it's going to make you be more reflective. It's going to make you rely more upon your intuition. It's going to force you to go a little bit deeper with this particular situation. Wow, I just blurred out on the screen. Ooh, let's see what happens with that. No, that didn't happen again. Okay, so while you are doubting, be okay with that. Be okay with it. Remind yourself every time doubt creeps into your mind that it's okay to doubt. Because when you doubt, that's when you come up with the really innovative ideas. Because they come from an unknown quarter of your psyche that doesn't necessarily come from the intellectual mind. It comes from the intellectual mind being fed and nourished by the supreme mind. So open yourself to that. That will provide you with the answers that you need. If you need a little bit of help during this particular solar eclipse cycle, or just with anything in general, I do offer several different levels of astrological service, all of which are available through the astrological services page of my website. If you're interested in scheduling with me, you can do so through the link above. That's going to do it for this video on the solar eclipse in Magha Nakshatra for the 11th of August, 2018. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.